Now, a window into our beautiful continent. It is a Travel Tuesday, and it's time to get you inspired. This morning sees us stay on the continued and very close to home, Botswana. We've had some magical journeys there already. It's been described as a front row seat for fabulous wildlife and one of the world's last great wildernesses. Well, we welcome into studio our travel expert, Colin. Good morning, sir. You seem inspired about Botswana. Great to connect with you. And again, great to be harping on about one of those hidden gems, or maybe not so hidden, but for many South Africans, an undiscovered gem in Botswana. What is it about this particular place that gets you inspired?
Well, maybe I can just start off with a quote. And it comes from this Scottish guy who arrived in Botswana many years ago and started this little sort of series of fantastic books.
Yeah.
And he did this quote, which I think sums it up. And he says, "Go to Botswana at your peril. The visitor here is often profoundly changed, even after a short while. For this is a good country, a place where, for the most part, governments and people behave with propriety and respect for others. It is a place that is ready to break the heart in unexpected ways." Isn't that a wonderful quote?
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. And as those visuals run behind you, I can certainly understand what he meant. We think we know wildlife in South Africa, and we've got some wonderful reserves, but Botswana seems to take it to an entirely different level. What would be your top travel tips, the ways to embrace Botswana?
I think, first of all, you've got to go. You know, most South Africans travel all the way around the world, and yet on our boundary, right here, and from Cape Town, you hop on a plane, and 2 hours later, you're sitting in the heart of the Okavango. Or from Johannesburg, an hour and a half later, you're there. And it's 850 kilometers, an easy day's drive, and we've got one of the most extraordinary wildlife places, not in Africa, but on the continent.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, you've got one of the last true wildernesses right there.
Yeah, the Great Migration, you've got the Okavango.
Exactly, all these wonderful places.
And one of the biggest wildlife populations, certainly when you look at Machadi, the salt pans, another standout feature. What would be the best way to approach it? How do you think a traveller should tackle this? Do we go outback? Do we camp? Do we go VIP style? What would be the best way to enjoy it?
You know, the beauty for Botswana is there's something for everybody. And I think, you know, South Africans, if you try and compete with the US dollar, in other words, you want to go July, August, September, October, and you want to book 2 years out, you're going to pay huge amounts of money. So South Africans have to be a little bit careful. If you try and go slightly out of season, or you book last minute, you can get the most fantastic deals. The rand goes far. Okay. I think the trick is you've got to try and see as much as possible. The longer you're there, the more you enjoy it. So places like the Machadi, as you say, on the way up is a fantastic start. The Okavango Delta is obviously the jewel. It's where the heart of everything. It's a UNESCO wetland site. It's everything. And then the places like Moremi and Chobe. So there's so much to see, and it all depends on your time. You can pop up for a weekend. You can go for 3 nights and you're just going to be blown away. Or you can go for 2 weeks and you're equally going to be blown away. One thing's for sure, is once you go once, you'll be going back and back and back. The trick is to just make sure that you make your rand have value. And so if you try and go in August, you can be paying extraordinary amounts of money if you're trying to book in advance. You can pay 70,000 rand for a room for a night. Wow. So the trick is not to go then, and to go slightly off-season.
What is the local currency value with the rand like at the moment?
Okay, the local currency is pula, and pula means rain. You know, it's a dry country which sometimes
more pula down south,
there we go, and it's also like the welcome. It's a celebration, pula. And it's about 30% stronger than the rand.
Okay.
But all the companies up there have got special SADC rates. And if you go and book slightly out of season, or you go last minute, the trick is last minute. I mean, if any hotelier, any lodge operator who's got a spare bed 2 weeks out will give you a great deal. So most of the companies have special resident rates. You know, big companies like Wilderness Safaris and all these guys have special residence clubs. So you become a member there, and they give out these specials, and you can go out there and spend in a private concession. And one of the big tricks of Botswana is that they have these extraordinary private concessions, basically a private reserve. Some of these are as big as 200,000 hectares. Wow. Now that's 10% of the Kruger Park, and you'll have maybe 30 people maximum in this extraordinary massive area.
What a way to discover Africa.
And so that's right. You get away from people, you get extraordinary amounts of space, and you have this wonderful, wonderful wildlife resort right on our doorstep.
I love that. Well, let's send you on your way. Actually, Colin, thank you so much. You've got me inspired. These visuals are amazing. How would you like to go and explore our incredible backyard here on African soil?